Welcome to Showbiz Stories. We've got some good ones. We've got the latest on Blac Chyna. We're going to have a little chat about Morgan Freeman, Chris Brown, Whitney Houston, and some fresh gossiping about the Meghan Markle and Prince Harry wedding. Let's kick in with Blac Chyna. I always love a Kardashian story.
Yeah, and you
So the latest in the Kardashians...
Now, let me just pause just for a minute. Let me just establish and orientate myself. Blac Chyna is the lady with the remarkable backside.
That I introduced you to a couple of weeks ago.
Absolutely.
That was the very short-term girlfriend of Rob Kardashian, the only Kardashian son.
Yep.
Who in that very, very short relationship managed to have a baby.
Yep.
With him, and
Must have been
also
longer
a
than 9
series
months, then.
called Rob and Chyna.
Oh, what, on the Ryan Seacrest thing?
Yeah.
Ah.
So she is claiming today that the show brought in better viewing figures than Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
I find that hard to believe.
Well, no, I think that was possible at that
do you?
time. They were in the papers all the time.
right.
I think it's perfectly possible that could have been the case because
so
they were
what's the
constantly
story?
fighting, they were constantly arguing. There has been a new document filed. I don't know what that means. That must be an American thing. I don't know what that means.
Do you think it's a paper document?
Yeah, like what, to the police, to her lawyer,
Do they do
whatever.
paper documents anymore?
Where essentially she claims that there was a conspiracy to keep her in the dark about why the show was pulled. She believes...
So hers, so hers and Rob's show was pulled?
Yes.
Right.
She believes and claims that the Kardashians held E to ransom by saying, if you recommission the show, and love it, I love the last line of this, that they will pull out, they will go to another channel with the Kardashians. Hilariously, the Kardashians say no such thing happened.
Right.
The viewing figures were low,
Right.
and Chyna had got a restraining order on Rob, therefore causing maybe a few problems with filming a TV show.
Right, okay.
Which is true. She did have a restraining order. They'd already started filming the second series when it had been pulled, and she believes that that was due to the Kardashians.
But so what I'm saying is though, so we had a potential situation where the second series was going to go ahead, where they could never appear in the same shot.
Well, this is what the Kardashians are saying, that she had a restraining order on him. She also says that the Kardashians have falsely claimed that one of the reasons the show was pulled was because Blac Chyna had been physically abusing Rob.
Do you think she hit him with her buttocks?
How can we ever know?
I mean, Christ.
This is all supposition.
She could take him out if she just
But the
tensed
stories,
her butt.
who knows?
Do you think the Kardashians would be that sly?
I don't know about sly. I think they're protective of their family and of their brand. They're a very good, strong family. And I mean, it was a nightmare.
And the show has been axed.
But what I would say is, Blac Chyna, when you see her on the show, is the most reasonable of women.
Is she?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So who can know what the truth is?
Yeah. She's more than her buttocks though, isn't she? Is she a singer? What is she?
I think she was a stripper.
She was a stripper?
Yeah.
I wonder if she can juggle with them. Anyway.
Next story.
Chris Brown splashing out $30,000 on his daughter Royalty. Well, hang on for a minute. Let's just pause. His daughter's called Royalty.
Hilarious.
Royalty.
But you can't just call yourself royalty. You had to be born.
You have to be born into it. Anyway,
royalty.
so he's spent $30,000 on an extravagant 4th birthday bash, bringing in Aladdin princesses and all manner of things from Disneyland.
Well, you know, you say that, but actually when you read it...
Is there anything to be outraged?
You think, what on earth cost $30,000? So he's been having a bitter feud over with his ex and the custody of his daughter.
Yeah.
And I think they share custody now.
Yeah.
And they have put their differences to one side for the sake of their daughter's birthday. I wish more couples could do that. Talks about this £30,000. They talk about this £30,000 that was spent, but then it says on a plush menu. And then goes on to say peanut butter jelly sandwiches,
California rolls,
mac and cheese and burgers.
No, and crab cakes and shrimp tempura.
Yeah, that's for the grown-ups.
Who is Chris Brown?
He is the rapper that was done for hitting Rhiannon. Yeah.
He does. I have read somewhere in this article, I did have a look at it when you sent it to me, that he says that being a dad and having a daughter's chilled him out a bit.
Yeah.
Do you think that happens to most men?
He says that he used to be real rambunctious, hyper, And
psychotic.
And now being around his daughter calms him down and chills him out.
Oh, how will that affect his child, royalty? A, being called royalty, and B, being treated like royalty?
I don't know. It'd be very odd in this country, but maybe the Americans could leave us a comment.
Yeah.
Because here it would be very odd.
I mean,
just call yourself royalty. One darling has to be born into it. Unless one marries our little Prince Harry.
Which leads us rather seamlessly onto your other story, doesn't it?
Yes, so I love this because I loved the wedding.
Let's have a look.
I loved it, loved it, loved it. I think the Brits were at their best. I thought Meghan was absolutely beautiful. Her mother, who's now back in LA walking the dogs, who'd have thought she'd stayed a bit longer?
I like the look of the mum.
And could she have not had a +1? That poor woman was on her own all the way through the wedding.
I'm sure she got the choice.
She was beautiful, she was charming, she was shy.
Composed.
And apparently she went to the reception and she went to the evening reception, but she was not seen again in London. She was not seen again anywhere, and now she's been seen today back in LA walking the dogs.
Is that because of social anxiety? Or?
I think she looked very shy. The other day on a show, if you're watching from America, I'm in a show that's a bit like The View. It's called Loose Women. And we had on the show a very, very well connected to the royals person called Dickie Arbiter. The Brits will know them, but the Americans know him, but probably the Americans.
Dickie Arbiter.
Dickie Arbiter was the press spokesperson for the Queen for many years.
Right.
Very well connected, knew Diana, and is respected, I think, by the royal family and a reliable source. Right. So it was decided by Meghan and Meghan and Harry asked Prince Charles whether they would walk it down because she felt it would be overwhelming for her mum. She's a shy woman, that's what Dickie said.
I never thought I'd see a British royal wedding with such a multicultural feel to it. And I thought I was quite encouraged by that.
Good thing that you should say that, because Meghan's friend, Janina Gavanka, I hope I've said that right. They've known each other for 15 years.
Yeah.
They are very, very close friends. She was one of the select few that sat up in the crypt, whereas many A-list celebrities were watching the wedding from a screen.
Right.
She was actually right there, so she's very, very close to Meghan. And so she was at the evening reception.
Right.
And she was saying that it was a real mashup of the cultures, which I think is lovely. And all the tables were named by words that differ between the Americans and the Brits. So, oregano. Potato. Tomato.
Let's call the whole thing off.
Isn't that charming?
Could there be a clue in that as to the future? Let's call the whole thing off.
Oh, shush, don't be a misery. Everybody loves the wedding. They're going to last forever.
Is it going to last?
So they danced till 2 in the morning.
Oh.
She said it was such a lovely family affair. So the only people that were there were family or chosen family. And she was one of the chosen family.
Okay.
So they all danced until the wee hours, she said, I think. And then at about 2 a.m. in the morning, they all ate sliders. Now, this is just information that we have not had. There's been nothing leaked about the reception. She said it was a beautiful day, a carefree night, and a very powerful day in history. And I think everybody felt it across the world. I can't reveal my sources on this, but apparently they are extremely broody and are trying for a baby immediately.
Need to know information there, isn't it? Kanye West's in trouble again.
Yeah, tell me about this.
Well, this is a ridiculous story. He's the producer of a new album by Pusha T. So he decides to get clearance and pays for, I believe, £85,000 to put the photo of Whitney Houston's hotel room after she died on the front cover. And so a relative within the Whitney Houston family was notified of this, and of course was left feeling deeply disturbed. I think it's quite outrageous. So Kanye, and where I'm most surprised, I suppose, is that Kanye West, being in the public eye and being a singer and being privy probably to some negative press, why on earth would he do that? Yeah,
because this photo was first printed in the National Enquirer, and I think in America that's like a really invasive paper, isn't it? I mean, it's the thing that celebrities dread and hate, and I would think with all that the Kardashians have had to hear and see printed about them that isn't true, that kind of invasion, I think it must be incredibly painful for Whitney's family.
Oh,
and
awful.
This cousin of hers that's
Damon Elliott.
Damon Elliott. He's actually worked with Kanye West before. I think it was a terrible shock for him, and the family are absolutely devastated.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Well, they're waiting for some kind of response from him. But what do you think? What do you think of Kanye using this photo on a front cover of an album that he's producing? He's making no good judgments, is he?
No,
let's be fair.
You know what my opinion is on this? I think he's unwell. It's like I said with the TMZ thing that we looked at a few weeks ago. I think he's unwell. Where are the people that are looking after him?
I know, but apparently he paid £85,000 for the photo. So it's not like...
Well, for the rights to show it,
no, but it's not an oversight.
Right, and of course this is just my opinion. This is not based on any fact or any evidence. But it's almost like he has some sort of grandiose superiority complex going on.
I think he's trying to be so clever that he's trying to make big statements about really troublesome things like the whole slave thing and now this. He's probably trying to make some comment on the exploitation of artists in some way, and this is what they end up as. But it's all backfiring massively, isn't it?
I mean, Kim Kardashian still hasn't said anything about his... Rumour has it that she is extremely worried.
Well, the final story that I wanted to draw attention to is obviously the very sad story regarding Morgan Freeman.
Sad for who?
Well, no, sad as in yet another person in the public field that we all sort of held in high regard has been seen to be exploiting or taking advantage of their position of power and strength.
I suppose why I asked that question, it's quite interesting why you say sad, because I think...
Well, sad insofar as a man, as a man, yet let down yet again by our gender. That's what I mean. Yes,
of course, if this is true, what is alleged is true, and you feel sad for the victims. But I do also feel sad because we've invested in this man. We've seen him as a really classy actor and human being. And if this is true, it's just so sad.
Well, the thing about the story that's happened today, he's issued a second apology, but I think what's troubling me about both this coverage and obviously the day after that Harvey Weinstein was arrested, and listening to Harvey Weinstein's lawyer's first comment, what seems to be creeping into the defence, and it's an interesting question and debate, but what the defence seems to be is there's a difference between bad behaviour or crass humour, which is what Morgan Freeman is saying he's done, and illegal behaviour or abuse. Now,
this is what Weinstein's barrister said, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. The court. So we're in a situation where I do think we're going to enter really troubled waters, where this is going to be sort of proposed and rolled forward as a line of defence, and so we're going to be left with this difficult situation of where is the dividing line between a criminal offence and inappropriate behaviour?
Right, but the problem is here that makes it more complicated, and I think he's absolutely right when he says it is not right to equate horrific incidents of sexual assault with misplaced compliments or humour.
My concern with all of this is that a very reasonable intellectual argument is going to be trotted forward by men who've been unspeakably horrible and exploitative in their relationships with women as a means of defending bad behaviour, because you can't argue with the idea that, being a bit lewd or being a bit inappropriate is the same as rape. It isn't. But at the same time, if these men keep saying that enough, there's going to be people who go, well, maybe this is everyone is being opportunistic with this. I'm really worried about his lawyer's line of defence. I think we're entering an OJ situation. I've got a horrendous feeling that he is going to get off with everything that he's done.
I have such terror of that. It feels like an O.J. Simpson.
Well, there you go. That's our showbiz roundup for the day.
There's a lot today.
Very American skewed. I hope it's appealed to you. This will be going out late tonight. And
hello, America. We love you.
Hello, America.
What will happen next with Meghan and Harry?
What do you think will happen next with Blac Chyna's bottom?
Mark?